Hello, I'm Shane Seeley, and this is the CBC Evening News. In our top story, the Congress of Trade Unions and Staff Associations of Barbados says it will not support government's plans to lay off 3,000 workers. It has instead recommended the development of a protocol on recovery and growth. CITUSAB President Cedric Murrell made the announcement today during a news conference at CITUSAB headquarters, where the union made its position on the matter crystal clear. Now, CITUSAB acknowledges government's massive wage bill with 26,000 people employed in the public service and across statutory corporations. But Mr. Murrell says that all efforts should now be focused on minimizing layoffs, as he believes it could trigger a further decline in the local economy. The CITUSAB president says the Congress is ready to work with the Prime Minister, but not under the terms which government has outlined to date.
CITUSAB rejects the proposal to freeze the increments of public officers for a period of 2 years. We believe that this may be unconstitutional and open to legal challenge. CITUSAB recommends that the social partners should be invited by the Prime Minister to develop a protocol on recovery and growth.
The CITUSAB president is of the view that government is heading down the wrong path.
We understand that there is an urgent problem, there is an urgent need. But we are also saying, and that we do not believe, that addressing that urgent need in the way that is planned is going to lead us to where we want to go, and that is to a question of growth. In fact, we are extremely fearful that it will lead us in the opposite direction. That is, that the economy will continue to contract and to perform worse.
More bad news for the local economy. Moody's Investors Service has downgraded Barbados' government bond rating to BA3 from BA1, putting the island's rating deeper into junk territory. It is citing anemic economic growth and a gaping fiscal deficit. The credit ratings agencies noted that the rising cost of funding for Barbados and its increased reliance on short-term funding. Moody's, in a statement, says foreign exchange reserves have also fallen sharply. Moody's also says the country's credit outlook remains negative. Meanwhile, the opposition leader Mia Mottley says government's plans to send home hundreds of public servants is to blame for the latest downgrades of the island's bond ratings. Her comments came today during a news conference in the opposition wing of Parliament.
Last night, we received the third downgrade this month. Standard & Poor's first, then Carey Chris, and now Moody's last night. Last night, Moody's gave us a double downgrade, not one notch, but 2 notches, not a positive outlook, but a negative outlook. And what is even of more concern, that it has come after the announcement by the Minister of Finance in a ministerial statement that the government's corrective action is the immediate freezing of 5,500 jobs, leading to 3,000 persons going home by March.
When contacted, the Minister of Finance, Chris Sinclair, was unavailable for comment. In other news, the National Initiative for Service Excellence is apologizing to a number of companies and hundreds of Barbadians whose inboxes have been flooded with emails purporting to be from the agency. But the emails are actually from a third-party server which had been hacked, according to NICE Chief Executive Officer Kim Tudor. It started on Wednesday, but she says the problem should be dealt with by the end of the day. She's telling recipients of the emails from NICE what to look out for and what to do.
Delete those emails. Don't respond to any emails. What NICE will do, though, is that as soon as this crisis has passed and everything is back to normal, we will alert you that it is now safe to receive emails from nicebarbados.info. Our server itself, nicebarbados.org, has not been compromised. It's a totally different server, so you can still continue to use nicebarbados.org, or you can contact us at nice@caribsurf.com. But we will issue a further announcement. But we are pretty certain, based on what our suppliers have said, that it is that the worst has passed.
The Christmas rushes on and the Royal Barbados Police Force is promising increased patrols as the season winds down. Crime Prevention Officer Station Sergeant Stephen Griffith tells CBC News that with 4 days remaining until Christmas, Operation U-Tide will be switched into high gear.
There will be very visible policing. There will be increased patrols deployed both on foot and mobile across those high shortment areas in Bridgetown, in Warrens, in Holetown, in Haggett Hall, Six Roads, Spikestown, Oystons, Sheraton, and their environs.
The station sergeant is reminding parents when traveling with children to ensure that they are close by, holding their hands. The crime prevention officer is also warning shoppers, mostly women, not to leave their bags unattended in their shopping carts or on countertops.
This is a practice that should be discontinued because there are persons who will be in those stores looking for this vulnerability. And I want to ask all shoppers to keep their bags and parcels close to them so that they cannot be stolen by those persons who are there specially for that purpose.
Now, with just a few days left until Christmas, many Barbadians have been flocking to Bridgetown to finish their shopping. When a CBC team visited the city earlier today, many of the major streets such as Swan Street and Broad Street were flooded with people. Despite the heavy pedestrian traffic, some of the merchants are blaming the current economic recession for the drop in sales. Location manager at Cave Shepherd, Mr. Andrew Wilkinson, says the sales are definitely slower than last year.
Well, the popular items still perfumery, the gift sets and Rihanna products that have been available in Cave Shepherd, as well as the liquor has been doing quite good, but however, we think that we can improve in that area as well.
Meanwhile, the marketing manager at Woolworth, Mr. Martin Bryant, says sales have increased over the past 2 days, with many people buying gift items such as toys and perfumes instead of decorations.
We are hoping for next couple of days to be good. We have gone out of our way this year to make sure that our pricing and the products offered can meet people's budget and their wallet. And I think we've done that based on the feedback we've been getting and the public coming here and purchasing items. And we foresee hopefully next couple of days that we will either match or beat last year's expectations.
Blight is the most common pest found on household plants and crops. That's what we're hearing from the plant health specialist with the Ministry of Agriculture, Brett Taylor. He was speaking at the Barbados Agricultural Development and Marketing Corporation Farmers Market.
Most common pests we're seeing on plants at this time are scale insects. These are sucking pests that affect both crop plants as well as horticultural plants. They usually produce what Bajans refer to as blight. This is a sooty mole, and they may be associated with ants. We see this a lot on ornamental plants. We also see it on fruit trees, and we can also see it on crop plants.
Mr. Taylor is calling for more farmers to visit the plant clinic when it is in their neighborhood to learn more about crop diseases. He says the officials will study the sample of what the plant has and what is affecting it. They will also give a solution.
We are seeking to promote safe and more productive farming or growing of crops or growing of plants for farmers and for householders. What the program seeks to do is to quickly identify any new problems or issues that farmers or householders may be having with their plants or their crops, so as to enable the farmer to generate more income and to produce more.
This Christmas, the smiles on the children's face on Ward C8 were bright when Santa Claus and his elves paid them a special visit. Along with him came performers Derek Fields and Tamara Marshall, who sang many Christmas carols and read the story, The Birth of Jesus. Manager for Juice and Dairy at Pine Hill Dairy, Henry Yearwood, says the company is happy to help spread joy for the season at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital.
I'll tell a quick story. Last week I was in St. Lucia and again for an essay competition, and a child had to write an essay, my best Christmas ever, and that essay actually talked about his experience as a child and having to given something away, something of his own, and how happy he was to see how happy it made someone. So that really represents how we feel, that we're in a position that we can bring some joy to children who are not feeling very well or would have had some unfortunate situation that brings them into the hospital at Christmas time. And we just feel it was critical that we continue to show support at the pediatric ward every year.